Well, hello kiddies, and welcome to Horror Dollhouse Part 1. In the introductory video, we explained that we're building the Beacon Hill Dollhouse kit, but each room has a different horror scene that we're going to build into it. The house itself needs to be built first, of course. So I've read through the instructions. I have Part 1 here. I know what parts I need. This corresponds, the numbers on there, to the schematic. This is the sheet. Now on this sheet are pre-cut, but I don't trust whether it's pre-cut fully at the corners, and I don't want any snapped corners. I want this thing to be perfect. So I'm going to take my X-Acto knife and I'm going to take my time and I'm going to work my way around and make sure it's trimmed cleanly. That way I can pop it out of this sheet. When you're using an X-Acto knife, be extremely careful. They are super sharp, and if you mess up, you will get stitches. Okay, now after I've trimmed out all these lines and made sure that they were clean cuts, I'm taking this piece of dowel. I'm using it as a punch, and I'm going to punch out my pieces all the way around here. See how nice and clean that is? That's because I took the time to trim it first. Okay, we have our 3 pieces. This is all trimmed out. I've taken a little bit of sandpaper over it just to make sure there wasn't any little jagged edges. And now I'm going to fit and make sure everything fits well. That works. And this is a cross member, which goes right here. But be careful not to get any glue in the slots, because you're going to need them later. Now I like to use, we can use a hot glue gun, or I can use Elmer's wood glue. I prefer this. Seems to me like it's stronger. Now it takes a little longer time to dry, but that's okay because I can move on to other aspects of this build. Now, before you start gluing, since we've worked on this table, we have some dust. Let's clear this dust off. We don't want it stuck in the glue. Then I'm going to take a brush and I'm going to brush glue on the edges. Take your time, don't get carried away. Now what I'm also doing is I'm running a nice little bead on the inside corner here. This will allow the glue to go down into the seam and make good contact, because it's not an absolutely perfect surfaces on either this piece or this piece. And I want the connection to be strong. It's just like building a house. It's just we're using glue instead of nails. Now you don't want this bead to be globby and to have bumps and ridges. So make sure you smooth it out. Now you're going to need something to hold this. So I have these little pieces of 2x4. From prior jobs. So I'm going to press them up against this. And then I'm going to put 2 on this side also. But I'm going to put this in first. Okay, now I've put a bead of glue here, and I've also put a bead right here. Be careful not to get it in these slots. You're going to need them later. So I'm going to put it down, I'm going to line it up, and then I'm going to clean off any excess glue. It's obviously not going to stand up by itself. So, being the pack rat that I am, I happen to have some spare 2x4s nearby. Some little pieces from a Jenga, life-size Jenga game I made. Now we're all lined up. I want to square it and make sure. And now I'm going to need a little bit of a weight on top to hold it down. And the same with here. So basically, instead of using clamps and tape and such, I'm using the laws of physics. And we'll let this dry for 24 hours. Thanks for visiting Horror Dollhouse Part 1. And we hope you enjoy the build as much as we do.